Hello, traders. It's 8:04 a.m. Sorry about the delay. It's 8:04 a.m. Chicago time on Thursday, the 22nd of October, 2020. This is episode number 1864. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investments. Risk off this morning. Gold is off 1.07%. Down 1.1% now, down $21.30, trading at 1908. The cables also weak. The Euro Stocks 50 to DAX are all down. The Euro's down 0.35% and the DAX is down 0.26%. The S&P minis down 8.25, have recovered quite a bit from the drop on the reopen. 8.25 down, 0.24%. The Nasdaq's off 24 points or 0.2%. The leader today is crude oil, up 32 cents, trading at 40.35. Crude oil is in a consolidation pattern, a very balanced profile, micro composite profile over a week or so. Crude has found its sweet spot around $40. Also, the Russell is up. One second. The Russell's up, which is interesting. The small caps are up 3.7 points or 0.23%. The Russell's kind of dislocated compared to the other indices. And the bonds are up 2 ticks. So you can't really say the allocations to safety because the safety instruments are not really higher. It seems like risk off across the board here. The market has executed a drop as had been anticipated from yesterday and the day before session. Did tag the area that was expected for the ES, which was 3404, and has returned back to the triangle trend line. We'll go over that in a second. In terms of what is really going on in the markets, using Refinitive's summary, the index futures dipped as investors braced for high levels of weekly job loss claims while talks in Washington over a stimulus deal dragged out. European stocks were in the red as a fall in German consumer morale, worries about soaring coronavirus cases in the continent and U.S. stimulus impasse weighed on sentiment. Japanese Nikkei ended lower as a firmer yen threatened earnings for exporters. Gold prices slipped as market hopes for a U.S. coronavirus aid package ahead of the presidential election waned, in turn bolstering the dollar. Oil prices ticked up but struggled to fully recover from the previous session's losses when a build in U.S. gasoline inventory signaled a deteriorating outlook for fuel demand as coronavirus cases soared. So, in that little summary there, they said coronavirus like 7 times. So, all eyes on that. There's a final debate between POTUS and his challenger Joe Biden today. We'll see how that pans out. The market might respond to what is said there. Not sure. In terms of what's on the calendar, we did get initial claims this morning in the U.S. came in much better, 787,000 versus 915,000. There's something I heard on my news feed about California not reporting or starting to report, I don't know, saying that the numbers are tricky for this initial claims release. Consumer confidence is due a half hour after the open out of the Eurozone, expecting negative 14.6 existing home sales at the same time. And then we get Fed's Barkin at 1:10 p.m. Eastern and Fed's Kaplan at 6. GfK consumer confidence out of Great Britain expected at 7 p.m. today. The expectation is negative 26, and then the presidential debate at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's where we stand. Let's take a look at what was expected yesterday versus what we got yesterday. Pretty decent trade overall. The thing with yesterday is that Really, the primary scenario was to test higher, to roll over, and start making its way. Really, the big target is right here at the 3404 area, 3404 right here. This is the area that was we were looking for on the test. Expected some trouble at the 20, but 3404 was the big one. Was looking for a push higher. We were one time framing down on a downward trending line from the downward sloping trend line, but we also have an upward sloping trend line. And again, I talked about that triangle and the fact that we were reaching the apex, so expecting a break, and the break was likely to be down. Do you remember why the break was expected to be down? I wrote it several times in here. Let's see, where did I write it? Right here. The one-time framing on the weekly's down, the daily's down. So I expected a push lower, right? So that's what that arrow is all about. So we didn't quite get scenario one. We did. We did finally take the breakdown. Here's what we got yesterday. Just a just a roller coaster ride, really. That was an open auction in range, push up to 57. If you look here, I outlined, where is it? I outlined the 58. See that 58 right there? So we pushed up to 57 and a quarter, couldn't quite get to the 58, and then we started to get scenario one right here, an impulse down, pretty big rotation down, good delta. So the expectation is for push down into 20, consolidation, and a push into 04. So 20 at 04. The overnight low yesterday was 20. Instead, it pushed right back to the mid. Look at that mid test on the nose, right from the 24.50 to the 41, comes back higher low again, puts in a zipper, breaks the zipper to the upside. So now we're off of shorts, and then it drops back and comes right back to the prior low, misses by 2 ticks. So now we have a weak low. So low, weak low, range extension down. Everything is pretty much pointing to the downside. And what does it do? Of course, it's going to come all the way back through the mid, taking us off of shorts again, and then rolls over and then moves to the low again. Just a mess yesterday. Pretty messy back and forth, and the news squawk is just going and going and going. In terms of what's going on here, it's processing. Yeah, the broadcasting software that I'm using is really just crunching the CPU, even though it's an i7 10000 something H. Look at this profile. Oh my gosh, that is just one boxy profile. Just really, we built ourselves value on top of the prior day's value. We built value down here. We put in a lower low, lower high. So the one-time framing down continues. 1 TF on the daily continues. So favoring the short side, as I talked about yesterday, but no chance. It just gave us no chance at the drop through 20 and a push through. Yesterday, it did not break the overnight stat. So yesterday was one of those days that falls under the 2% historical probability, where the overnight high and the overnight low or the overnight low are not broken. And then, of course, take a look at this. I posted this on Twitter. There's a triangle I've been talking about. There's the one-time framing down. Remember, these shaded areas are RTH, or pit session days or periods. This is yesterday's. As soon as we reopen, what does it do? Explodes down to 02, hitting the 04, and then building a zipper and building consolidation at the 04. So basically, nothing during the day, and then immediately goes and tests the 04, right after the close. This I have not touched this trend line. It's been on since the session before. We just came back and tested the trend line from below. We are pretty much at the apex of this triangle, so we're either going to continue down, or we will likely break to the upside. It's not likely to come back and consolidate further. We have basically consolidated now for several sessions after the drop. 2 sessions after the drop, we've had an inside day and another inside day to the impulse, and now we're continuing down. My expectation is it's likely to continue lower to take out this. What was it? 12. I kept saying 10, but it's really, oh, it's 1075. The low of 1075. I believe that's the low for. Nope, it wasn't. It was, yep, 1275. 1275, 1075 on Netflix after the close. This 1075 is expected to be taken, and we expect to push to 3400. So that's how things shaped up. We did get the exact kind of scenario we wanted from yesterday, but we got it overnight. Of course, I'm not here to trade it. Don't trade overnight except on special events. Here's the daily. We are one time framing down on the day, on the weekly, one time framing down on the daily, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, expecting this break to continue lower. Not seeing, I mean, Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, is expected to speak, and it wasn't on the calendar. But the Speaker of the House came on MSNBC this morning and is expected to have a presser at 10:45 Eastern, according to Politico. And so that's likely to rock things around. So about an hour and 10 minutes after the open, an hour and 15 minutes after the open, we're expecting something from the Speaker of the House. She says that they're getting pretty close. So that may give us that big, 60-point move up or whatever. But for now, the market is getting lower delta and is essentially trending down. Okay, so that's where we stand currently. In the order flow, see how long it takes for it to switch to that screen. Sorry, this is so slow. Wow, this thing is so slow. In the order flow, just kind of a mess overnight. A lot of, again, the same thing. We did get big collisions on the way down, big drops. These are VWAP fills. This is reporting the VWAP of these big sweep fills. Big drops, consolidates and takes it all back as we have been doing. So back to the scene of the crime up here on the high. And we've been consolidating since. So we're holding on top of the overnight point of control in what is basically a let's see, what is basically a session that has explored lower but has come into line. The overnight volume is 301,000 and steady. So not seeing clear liquidity areas, not seeing anything special in the order flow just yet. So to me, there's a sense that we are likely to open up into chop, and that's where we're headed. Let's take a look at what's expected for today. Spend a minute on that, and move on with our day. Right, here we go. So current situation. So what are we looking for today based on all of those inputs that I just talked about? The one-time framing down, The break overnight, the 34, remember 31, I believe it's, what is it, 31 and a quarter. Yeah, 31 and a quarter is last week's low in here, 31 and a quarter. So what do we have? We have a market that's holding steady. We have two distributions in the overnight session. The expectation today is an open auction that shifts down, looking for it to push towards the lower distribution, likely to take out this 1275 and consolidate. I'm not really looking for it to push the low today, consolidate in here, and then start to turn up and come back into the consolidation zone from the prior day. So I'm looking for it to come back and hold the 34 to 38 area. So 34 is right here, 34, 38, and then above there we have the 50. Not expecting it to push the 50, expecting a lower high, lower low today, expecting a double distribution profile. Today's session is likely to get one of these deals. Nothing special about today really, except for, whatever political information comes out, but expecting an exploration and balance. Exploration down and then balance. I'm expecting the market to get a grip and start to hold steady and hold prices as we push lower. We're seeing some pretty decent lifting yesterday on the tape. If you're watching the tape, there's some pretty decent lifting on every dip. Remember, it defended this 25, 26 area pretty well, and we're opening just around that. We're currently trading at 26.50. The secondary is an open that swings up, pushes into the 38, consolidates up here, holds for most of the session, expecting a noisy, sticky session, and then an impulse down that is likely to bring us to the lower distribution through that 1275 and then consolidate and hold near lows. And that would give us a further push down through the 3400. So in that case, we would be down at 04 again at the double O, and then we are likely to push into the next big area, which is 98. What is it? 98 quarter, and then below that's 86. 86. Whoa, I'm really messing this up. 86, and then the next stock zone down is 76. There's a fair amount of support here at 76 and 86. I'm expecting these to be pretty tough to break through on the first test. Okay, so above 34, 38, 50. The big one is 70. Up high, 70 is a big one up here if it decides to rally. But this is a map of what's expected for today. Mostly chop. The market's anticipating news, and we're likely to be kind of spectators for these politicians until they sort it out. Good luck. Watch your risk first and foremost. And oh, by the way, tomorrow, no trader bite. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be in Michigan. I'm on vacation tomorrow with the in-laws, so no trader bite. Not gonna lug all this gear around so that I can do a trader bite. So no trader bite. I'll put a reminder up on Twitter tomorrow. Good luck today. I'll catch you on Monday. Take care.